Hi guys, welcome back to Royal Zoological Park and our second lockdown online. Now today I'm Keeper Ben and I'm going to be introducing you to our Asia and Africa residents we keep here at Wild. So here at Wild we do currently have two white-naped crane adults and they go by the names Nigel and Sharon. You might have noticed we have two baby white-naped cranes which we actually had to hand rear due to Nigel there liking the game of smashing eggs. Now don't worry because you can actually see these guys still and they will be flying in our free flight display as soon as the shows go on. One of our main exhibits here at Wild is our mixed species alien enclosure and this is filled with a lot of different species of animal all the way from Asia. Now we have our two Asian short-clawed otters and they go by the name Widget and Khan and they are actually the smallest otter species in the world. Now we also have Patrick, who's our Asian palm civet, who we actually rescued, who was an ex-pet in the middle of London. And finally we have our two binturong. We have Baloo, our Palawan binturong, who unfortunately did have to be hand-reared, it was orphaned as a baby. And then Mowgli, who is our Javan binturong, and he was parent reared and hopefully he's going to be in our Wild Wonders show in the near future. Also here at Wild we currently have two mobs of meerkats. We have our mob of 4 females and they were what we had when we first opened the park, and we also have our mob of 12. This is males, females, babies, the lot. Now these guys actually come from South Africa and they live in burrows underground, staying away from any predators that might want to eat them. Now another cool thing about these guys is that they live in massive groups. They can live in any size group from 3 all the way up to 50 members in one group, and they all play their role to protect and look after the family. If you've been to Wild before, you might have noticed we have our massive lemur walkthrough out here, and this is filled with 7 ring-tailed lemurs. Now we have one female which is just behind you and she's called Carla, and Carla is our dominant female in the group and the rest of the 6 are being males. They are very troublesome boys. Now these guys come from one island in Madagascar and that is the only place where these guys are located, which means that they are actually at risk of becoming more and more endangered as the time goes on if we don't act on saving their population. We have 3 sulcata tortoises, all being females. Now these guys roam around in our lemur walkthrough and our lemurs love to catch the ride on their backs occasionally. Now when you're next in the lemur enclosure, make sure to look out for these. They might have grown a bit bigger because when fully grown, these guys will be off the floor about this high and be about this wide. So they grow pretty big. Also here at Wild we have our 3 African crown cranes. We have Jessica, Gregory and Rodney. And if you look at the top, we have our 2 African pied crows, and they go by the names Dora and Finn. Now these African crown cranes you might see flying about in our free flight display. They're the birds that come all the way from the back and come flying right over your heads doing those beautiful loops along with our white storks. And Bali here is the largest owl species in the whole of Africa. Now she has a pretty powerful reputation to live up to. Now she can, if she was out in Africa, grab stuff the size of baby warthogs, size of meerkats, and even the only documented owl species to grab a monkey out of a tree at night by its head. How gruesome. Now Angelica here isn't quite from Africa, she's actually from America, but she is part of our African section here at Wild. Now you might be asking why have you got an American species in an African section of your zoo, and that answer is simple. Our main aim is to educate about endangered species, and these guys are being poisoned out where they come from because people think they put disease into the world when actually they take it out by eating all of those dead carcasses that you might find lying about. Now that is why Angelica here is part of our video today. Our trumpeter hornbills here at Wild are one of my favourite animals we keep. Now this is because they are so inquisitive, so social, they live in groups from 2 all the way up to 10. We have a pair here called Max and Martha, so this is Max at the front and Martha at the back. Now there's not much differences between them, which makes it very, very hard to tell them apart. But one of my favourite things about them is that they love eating really healthy fruit and also catching insects right out of the air, which is crazy to think about. Now here are our African pink-backed pelicans. We have Pascal, we have Penelope, and also Pepe joining me at the back here. Now you might be surprised to know with their size that they're still in fact only young babies. And when fully grown they will only get a bit bigger, but they will start to have a bit more pink on their backs. Now as a result they're learning how to fly, and that is a great thing because we can actually train them up, and they are a part of our free flight display as part of the finale section, which most of you have seen. Now if you've been following us or if you've come here in a while, you might have also noticed in this enclosure we have our white storks. Now currently they're just off display at the moment, and we'll be bringing them back in just a few days after their enclosure is refurbished, because we wanted to put a new substrate in so that they can enjoy. We can't finish our Africa tour without the magnificent Sebastian serval. Now the reason why we have these guys are actually still classified as stable out in Africa where they come from. However, in the past they have been hunted down for the pet trade, for the fur trade, and people think that they do make good pets, when obviously they are wild animals, liking to that stimulation, and Sebastian here gets a lot of stimulation through our enrichment program which we run. Now he is a cat, and cat species mainly like to hunt and pounce on their prey, so they like stalk their prey and then they go for it. And we try to stimulate that as much as possible. We can put his food in like bags, we can scent mark some stuff, we can give him in the summer some blood ice lollies, which he absolutely loves. And they just one of the ways, or some of the ways, that we actually stimulate our serval here at Wild. Now that concludes our Africa Asia tour here at Wild today. Now if there is any more videos that you would like to see, just comment down below and we'll try and get them sorted for you. But just another quick reminder that the reason why we do these videos is to educate, to make you aware of the animals that we do have here and how endangered they can be, and also to try and make your lockdown a bit more fun. Now if any of you do want to help out with our fundraising efforts, the GoFundMe link will be below, and that will be towards all of the animals that we have to care for even throughout the lockdown. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the talk and the tour, and goodbye.